Hero. Hero. Can you hear me? Am I getting through? I wonder if you can recognize my voice after all this time. It's been, what, 10 years? 10 long, long years. Oh, it looks like you do recognize it. Look at that. Your hand went straight to your hip, even though you don't have a sword sheath there anymore. Silly, silly hero. I remember when you slept with your blade in hand. Have the years really made you so careless and lax? Don't bother looking around for me. I'm not really here. Not physically, anyway. Don't you remember this trick? Back when I tried to turn you and your companions against each other. Yes, you can't forget the Demon Queen, can you? We're bound together, you and I. We were always destined for each other, to share our fates. I think you never realized that, how much you needed me. When you were identified as the chosen hero, you came right for me, ready to carry out the task you were assigned without even considering what would happen to you without me. I always understood, though. I never tried to destroy you, though I let you think that's what I wanted for a long time. Mostly, I wanted to get rid of your ridiculous little band of misfits. I didn't need any of them. But you know that, don't you? You remember what happened when you finally entered my throne room. I offered you everything. Riches, fame, comfort, safety. I even offered you my hand in marriage. That one I couldn't help but take personally. Turning down the rest was disappointing, but turning down me as a spouse, me, who could send nations to war with half a smile, that was just insulting. Confused? Oh, I'm sure you thought you killed me. How naive. As if the Demon Queen could be destroyed with a mere sword, regardless of its enchantments. No, I was simply weakened. It was infuriating, drifting around as a disembodied consciousness, but I wasn't too worried because I knew that when I fell, you'd fall with me. Oh, you don't think so? Look at you. You practically live in a shack. You have to grow your own food. You're barely getting by. Don't lie to me, hero. I've been watching you. I saw everything. When you and your friends returned, I'm sure everything must have seemed so wonderful. The whole world cheering your names. But you can't ride the rest of your life off a single victory, no matter how glorious. Your little friends understood that. They thought about what was next. They used their fame to start new careers as mercenaries or soldiers. I believe one of them actually became a politician, actually. I rather liked that one, I must confess. But you, the hero? No, you could never use your fame to open doors. It was selfish, you thought. You told the king you were at his disposal to send you wherever you were needed. Oh, poor clueless hero. With everyone shouting your accolades, I don't think you could imagine a world where you weren't needed. But it's the very world you created. With me gone, there was nothing that required your might. Sure, the king sent you on missions for a while, but you were just too much. None of the conflicts you were sent to resolve really needed you. There was nobody strong enough to warrant your involvement. And besides, your skills weren't really all that useful there. Most conflicts in the world aren't won by a single, overwhelmingly powerful person. One person can be planned around and avoided. A larger, more versatile force is usually what's needed, unless you're facing something like me. And so you became a relic, something to hang over the fireplace and admire, but never use. You were a master of ceremonies for a while, a celebrity to make appearances and get the crowd excited. And then, finally, you weren't even that. The common folk were fickle, and the longer you went without doing anything, the less excited they were to see you. And so, here you are. The king promised a generous allowance for your service, but he didn't really have much reason to honor that once people stopped caring about you. Just look at you, the hero, the one who saved all mankind, penniless and living in squalor. You see, without me, you're nothing. But I didn't reach through the veil of death just to gloat. You might not believe me, but it brings me no pleasure to see you like this. To see the only mortal worthy of my respect, the only one I ever saw as my equal, disregarded by those beneath them. It brings me only rage. I am here because I want revenge. Not on you, don't worry. Even in the state you're in, I don't relish a fight with you. No, I want revenge on the vile fools that set you against me in the first place, who convinced you that I was the enemy. You may think that I am, but I don't have to be. Did you ever wonder if you were on the wrong side? You still think along such simple lines. You want to talk atrocities? Your kind have committed as many against us as we have against you. Of course we came to conquer the world. It's the nature of a successful kingdom to grow larger. I conquered and united the entire underworld, leaving the mortal world as the only place to expand to. Do you think your kingdom hasn't done the exact same thing? Do you think that the very land you stand on right now never belonged to another nation, another people? What do you suppose they'd think of your king? It's our nature to conquer. Both mortals and demons can only survive by consuming other living things. Our existence is chaos and destruction. Say what you will about me and my infernal empire, but there is one thing that you can't deny. It's united. You mortals may have banded together to stop me, but you all went right back to squabbling the second I was gone. Under my rule, that would never happen. There would be no infighting or unfair treatment of each other. Think about that. I want to extend to you the same offer I did when you faced me. Join me, and I'll give you everything, even half the world, if you want it. Do you want to know why I made that offer? We, the demons, we're the first ones to call you hero in our prophecies. The mortals stole that term and made you out to be their hero, but we believed that you could save whoever you chose. You could be our hero, my hero. We could conquer the entire world and unite it under one rule, together. No, that's a shame. Although, you took much longer to decide that than last time. I think you're starting to see things my way. Oh well. I was hoping we could do it the easy way, but... Fool. Did you think I was powerless? Did you think I was only a voice? I've been reborn. What do you think of this new body? It's not too different from the old one, but I made a few tasteful alterations. I'm taking you back with me, and there's not a single thing you can do to stop me. Don't bother struggling. Those are cursed chains. You would have had trouble with those in your prime, let alone right now. Always so valiant and headstrong. But why don't you try actually thinking ahead for once? What would you do if you escaped? You can't fight me in your condition. You're out of practice, and you don't have any of your enchanted gear. Meanwhile, I'm more powerful than ever. I'm afraid that I'm through giving you choices. You're going to do whatever I want now. I'll finish what the mortals started and break you so I can mold you into my perfect servant. Maybe even a partner and spouse, if you're very good for me. Don't worry, I won't do too much to alter your mind. You may be a bit of a simpleton, but something about your direct approach led you to victory. But from now on, you'll be putting that brute force method of yours to work for me. Those eyes. Some things never change. Those are the same eyes I saw when you faced me. You must still resent me. Perhaps even more now than you did back then. Don't worry. In time, you'll understand my point of view. Come along now, dear human. We have quite a lot of work ahead of us. Here we are, home sweet home. Does it look familiar? You stood in a throne room just like this long ago. Oh, yes indeed. You did destroy my palace back then. A needless act, honestly. You had already killed me, or so you thought, so there was no need to bring such a magnificent structure down. But I suppose I should be grateful, because it allowed me to construct this new palace from the rubble. I kept some of the old style for nostalgia's sake, but most of it is brand new and better than ever. Oh, you think so, do you? Well, you're wrong. Your kingdom hasn't bothered to keep tabs on the demon realm. None of the members of the Alliance have. And you know why? Because they want a resurgence. The war against the Demon Queen, against me, was devastating for the common folk, but it was terrific for the royalty, the nobility, and everyone else who was rich and powerful. Surprised? Of course you are, naive as you are. They loved it, because commoners were throwing everything they owned to the war effort. You really think all that money went solely to defense? No. Every greedy human that could was dipping their hands into the fund. It's rare for them to be able to take so much without complaint. It was risky, of course, There was the very real possibility that I could wipe them out, but of course, most casualties were soldiers or commoners. The ruling class would be the last of all, so they were more than comfortable with skimping on their contributions and pocketing the difference. They could always bring their hoarded wealth to bear if they were in danger later. Besides, what did they really need to spend money on? They had you. One person with a small party to assist them. That's far cheaper than in the army. In fact, I bet most of them didn't fully believe in the prophecy. It was just a perfect opportunity. They could point to me and explain why they needed money, and then point to you and explain why they didn't need to spend it. Anyway, they have been watching the demon realm to ensure a new demon queen or king never arises. If they didn't watch, then they don't have to lie when they say it came as a surprise. Does that make you angry, hero? Does that make your blood boil? They'll never stop, you know. They'll keep manipulating the public and raising their children to do it too. They have to be stopped. And you could be the one to do it. Just think about it. I mean, really think about it. Don't just toss out the idea because you don't like me. You've been to the demon realm. You've seen what it's like. Did you ever see a demon that looked poor or malnourished or mistreated at all? No, of course you didn't. Everyone under my rule is fed and cared for, from my top generals down to the one who mucks my stables. No, you're right. I'm not that kind-hearted. I don't care for my subjects because of love or any sentimental drivel like that. I do it because I plan for the long term. You humans live such short lives, so it's easy for your leaders to think about short-term gains. They're opportunistic scavengers, nothing more. But when you're functionally immortal like I am, you need to think of the future. The far, far future. I can't just create problems for the next generation to fix, because there is no next generation. So I give my subjects everything they need, so they can give me everything I need. Doesn't that sound better? Wouldn't you rather the humans live like that? Because there's only one way to make it happen. We need to replace your corrupt, short-sighted human rulers, hero. Replace them with me. Topple them from their pedestals and make them squirm in the dirt while I grind them under my heel and laugh. Make them regret denying the demon queen her... You get what I mean. I'd say don't be a child, but it's just what I expected from you. Of course there will be casualties. Millions. The royals will be sitting behind armies of gullible fools who will die for them. It's just how it is, hero. The human population will be reduced. In fact, I expected that my victory would require exterminating most of you. But those that remain will have everything they need, as will their children and their grandchildren. I wish you could think long-term like I do. But, though you're powerful, you're only human. I anticipated this problem, which is why I'm going to give you a little nudge. Essentially, I'll brainwash you. No point in mincing words. I'm not going to deconstruct your entire identity, but I will make you obey me. It will be a long process and made longer by any resistance you put up, but it will happen, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't struggle too much. You were never one to accept the inevitable, but it would be so much easier on both of us if you did so for once. Now, look into my eyes. Look deep. Even after all this time, with how far you've fallen, you still manage to resist my commands. Few humans can manage that, you know. But you can't hold out forever. Look. Better. Do you remember this? Back when I took the form of that attractive elven princess you fancied. I tricked you into looking my eyes just like this. Let go. Stop resisting. Let your mind relax and accept my words. You don't need to fight it. You can't fight it. Not forever. Our minds are connected now. You can feel my presence, can't you? The power of my mind is overwhelming. I'm inside your thoughts, and you can't keep me from toying with them. It would be so much easier for you if you just let go. Let me in, and I'll decide what's right and wrong for you. You're so confused now. Not at all like the last time I entered your mind. You don't know who to trust or what to do, so just hand that burden to me. So stubborn. Even with all your doubts, you can't accept defeat. Why must you be so unreasonable? But it's all right. I tried to outwit you when you fought against my army, but somehow you always found a way to push through, all the way until you finally bested me. So I'm going to take a page from your book and just keep trudging forward until you're finally mine. But it still makes me wonder, why do you even bother? What's all of this resistance for? Before, it almost made sense. You thought you were fighting for justice. You had close friends you needed to protect. And you believed in the goodness of your king. But now, they've all abandoned you. You've learned the truth. That everybody is fundamentally alone. And that goes especially for you. So why? Who are you protecting? For yourself. My, that certainly is different. And here I thought you didn't do a single thing unless it was for someone else. Maybe you have wisened up, at least a little. But if you want to do something good for yourself, then just give in. Life will be far better for you under my control than it ever was under your own. It's just like I said, those who serve me will be provided with everything they need. Speaking of which, I did mention before that I might marry you if you're good, but you didn't even flinch. What do you think about it? Aren't you even a little bit curious what sort of marital bliss I could provide? Just like old times, you certainly know how to give a harsh rejection. I'm not quite so offended this time around, though. Why? Well, because I'm certain that you'll change your tune later. Mark my words, you'll get down on one knee and propose to me yourself one day. Just hope that when that day comes, I don't decide to be just as harsh as you were to me. Now I could resume the brainwashing, but I think we can call it a day. There's no rush, after all. We have all the time in the world. My servants will escort you to your new quarters. But before I forget, this collar will seal your abilities. You're as harmless as a lamb now. At least any demon. Rest well, dear hero. We'll see each other again tomorrow. It's going to be a very long day.